How do you write about a show that means the world to you? One that directly impacted your life and changed it for the better. I guess I could just start at the beginning and see what comes out. I watched my first Kyoto animation series, Clannad, about 5 or 6 years ago, and like many others, I found it to be incredibly emotional, bringing me to tears several times. This was the first time I had ever cried over an anime as an adult, which I was kind of expecting considering the discussion around it. What I wasn't expecting was that it would be so emotionally poignant and powerful that it actually made me want to be a better person. Even though it's been so long since I first saw it, I still vividly remember watching episode 18 of After Story and having a near complete emotional breakdown. Seeing Tomoya realize the responsibilities he's been neglecting towards the people in his life left me a total wreck. I don't think I completely understood why at the time, but I knew in that moment that I wanted to be a better person. Not for myself, but for the people around me. And I'd like to think I did that to some degree. Bit by bit, I'd subconsciously tried to become a more responsible person, knowing that I wasn't the only one who was relying on me. As I became more engrossed in the world of anime, I subsequently consumed more of KyoAni's works, and almost every one of them left me with a new idea or emotion that I had never experienced as beautifully or as deeply as I did in those shows. Haruhi provided a fantastic thrill ride of supernatural wonder set against a thematic backbone of discovering something in life worth engaging in. Chunibyo assured me that there is a place for weirdos like me in this world. Dragon Maid taught me how people with nothing in common could still learn to connect with each other. Sound Euphonium showed me people who refused to let their passions slip away from them and learned how to pursue said passions with all their might. Violet Evergarden conveyed what exactly it means to have emotional connections with other people. To me, there is no studio better at portraying the human condition than KyoAni. So in the wake of tragedy, as I struggle to find an outlet for a whole new set of emotions, I turned back to the show that affected me the most. And surprisingly, I found it to be even more thematically rich and personally relevant than I did on my first viewing all those years ago. So many ideas leapt out at me that had completely gone over my head the first time. How people who feel as though they are lesser can help each other become whole. How even the lowest and most shameful of individuals are still human and have a chance at forgiveness. How families can be built beyond blood relations. How much parents are willing to sacrifice for their children to succeed. How to move on from loss. It even zeroed in on one of the biggest sources of grief in my life right now, and hopefully will lead me down a path towards healing some of the relationships that have been such a strain on me. Even on a directorial and animation level, Clannad blew me away. Gorgeous backgrounds that feel so realistic and lived in, explosive gags and slapstick with more impact than most of the action anime I've seen. Beautiful lighting and coloring to draw out every ounce of emotion from each scene, and expressive, heartfelt character acting that felt more real and resonant than anything I've ever seen in live action. Even the OVAs have so much care and craft put into them that they feel like worthy additions to the main story simply on their artistic merit. Clannad had a strong source material to start with, but it was KyoAni who turned it into a masterpiece of animation and storytelling, accentuating the emotional turmoil of its story with stunning artwork and engrossing animation that feels so real at times that I want to reach out and touch it and let these characters know that everything is okay. These are the elements that elevate this story from emotional to heart-wrenching. Clannad and other KyoAni shows like it are known for being extremely sad. But with this latest viewing, I've discovered that that's not why I consider it a favorite. Being able to evoke that much sadness from an audience is an amazing feat. But what truly draws me to this series is that it's just as capable of eliciting the same amount of joy and happiness. Tomoya having fun with his friends reminded me of my own friends as I laughed along with him. Watching him overcome all the obstacles in his life was satisfying beyond belief. Seeing him finally find a place he can call home and a family he can be part of brought such warmth to my heart that I couldn't help but smile like a fool. Clannad's characters might have a lot of incredibly low points, but they have just as many high points, if not more. Because life isn't about suffering, it's about living. And Clannad portrays all aspects of life that make it worth living, even in the darkest of moments. I wish this world was like Clannad sometimes, where I could capture one of those wish-granting balls of light and make this whole thing go away. That this was all just some bad end that could be undone. Maybe I wouldn't be an emotional mess right now if I had never engaged with this studio in the first place. If I had just passed on these shows entirely and not gotten so attached to them that this tragedy would affect me so deeply. But even if I could, I know I wouldn't. The feelings I've experienced, the lessons I've learned, and the connections I've made are too important to wish away. Even if it means going through the pain of loss, I would still choose KyoAni all over again if it meant I could be touched by the passion and heart put into their works, their uncompromising approach to animation and artistry, and a genuine sense of empathy and humanity that resides in every story they tell. This wound won't completely heal, and I'm still not sure how I'm going to handle it when the names of those lost are released. And I have to cope with the fact that someone who animated one of my favorite cuts that made me feel so deeply is just gone. But I won't let that define the legacy of a studio that has brought me more joy than I could ever hope to quantify. Thank you, KyoAni, for everything. If you want to help KyoAni yourself, I'll be posting links in the description for both Sentai Filmworks fundraiser and the KyoAni shop where you can buy digital prints of their artwork. Any help that you can give is more than appreciated. Thank you.